Didn't I just make a whole video about how I don't want to review sequels anymore? And of course the next video I make is talking about a sequel. That is so typically me. However, I don't really want to talk about Home as a sequel, but more as a book with a purpose. Because reading this book, I don't really feel it has a story. It felt more like a book with a purpose. And the purpose for me was very clear and in the foreground and really not attractive to read about. We see Binti going home and struggling against her family, always telling her how she abandoned them, how she disappointed them, about the village, how they all look back at her and that no one will ever marry her. Basically, they want to squeeze her back into this life that the whole village and the family controlled, where there is no freedom. And this whole book is just telling Binti or the reader that you don't have to do that, that it's your life, you can control it, you need to take control. But at the same time we see Binti struggling with the prejudices and the beliefs that she grew up with in this village family combination and how she's trying to outgrow it, but how it's an inner struggle. And I do recognize that all of this is important to read about, and I also recognize that I am not the main target here. I'm definitely not a young girl anymore, and I didn't have a family that was like Binti's or restrictive. So I didn't really have to break free from the restrictions from my family. But reading this book, it didn't feel like a good book because the story was so far in the background, and all of this achievement of breaking free and making a strong woman and showing a strong woman to the reader and all the things that held her back was so much in the foreground that I couldn't enjoy reading it. And I think that is not good, because it's good to have a book that shows you how to be free and yourself and to be strong. But I don't think it's helping if it's so in your face that you really notice only that and not the story. And that's actually what I want to talk about. Or I want to know what you think about this. Do you think if the purpose in the book is too much in the foreground, that it gets in the way of the story, or that there is no story to speak of, that it is not helpful? Or do you think it's still working because it's so obvious that you cannot miss the point? Let's talk about this in comments. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.